The following podcast contains spoilers.
Hey, it's Joe Bunzerelly.
Jack Black, Christopher Lloyd, we got droids, we got dark sabers. I got Bob with me, and we're talking about Chapter 22, Guns for Hire.
This is the Bunzerelly Show.
I think it's almost like the Muppets, where you watch Sesame Street and different actors show up. I think it's like, hey, I'll be in Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, yeah, let me, like, Jack Black's like, sign me up.
Oh yeah, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that's true. It was a big one. Like, but it was a big one, and it was good, but it was very strange. Do you have like a strange feeling to it? It had a it didn't you know what it felt like? Like, Disney owns them, right?
Yes.
It felt like let's pretend they didn't. It felt like that was the first episode, like Disney just bought them. Like, do you remember when sitcoms like Fox or Roseanne and all those shows, Disney bought them, and then all of them went to Disney World, and it was like, there's so much more money in the episode, and, and like every episode was like a Disney World commercial.
Yeah, Roseanne went to Disney. Yeah, everybody went to Disney.
Yeah, this had that feel to where it's like, what's going on here? like it just seems like there was so much more. There's so much more like theatrical, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
But from the beginning, the first thing on my notes is, why are they here again?
Yeah.
I missed the beginning, why they were going there. So the whole time they're there, I'm like, this is a lot of money and stuff happening, and I don't know why. I
think it's like so my theory is they write these outlines for these shows, and they're like, okay, we got to get to this point, and this point. So like at the end of whatever's going to have at the end of the season finale is like where they're going this season, but then they're like, okay, let's get to point B. This has got to happen, and then everything else is, I don't want to say filler, but it's like, it's kind of not filler because it's kind of cool if it's something interesting to watch that's self-contained, because somebody can go, oh, this is something interesting to watch, instead of be like, you watch a show and you have no idea, kind of like Walking Dead. Like, even if you don't know exactly who's who, you could turn on Walking Dead.
It's got to be a standalone. Each thing has to be a standalone.
Yes.
Yeah, it does. And it wasn't so much the filler part of it.
No, it was far removed.
More like,
from what we've been seeing.
It was far removed. It felt, it almost felt, I was like, maybe I was actually going to ask you, is it different directors or something going on this time? Because there's a different, each show has a rhythm. It was a different rhythm to it even. Well, it was very good. I'm not trying to dog it. I'm just saying it felt different to me.
Yeah. I forgot her name. Jurassic Park. Ron Howard's daughter.
Ron Howard's daughter. Yeah. Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah. So, and everyone she's directed has been like, she directed the one where Bo-Katan first appeared. And then in the first season, she directed the one where it was something about a walker, the one when Gina Carano was in there and they were taking the walker down or something. But
you know what? That actually, that's right. That was the last thing, not to skip to the end, but I was like, at the end, I'm thinking it's over, and just because we're talking about the strangeness of it, and I'm thinking of I'm thinking of this conversation we're gonna have, and I'm getting up, and then the big real ending happens. I'm like, oh, that's why. That's what this was all for. Because if you think of it like, okay, this is the big episode with the big changing of the sword.
Yeah.
So if you think of it like that, it's like, okay, that's why this episode was a big deal.
Yeah.
So they went all out, and visually it was, before you get into the plot things of it, it was visually insane, just visually stunning. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, and they're still using like pieces of stuff George Lucas did, because kind of like when they go into that big opulent dinner with like Jack Black and Lizzo, it reminded me of on Cloud City when Vader's there, even though it's a smaller and not as opulent, but when Vader's there, it's like, we were hoping you could join us for dinner, but just that white room and the dining room table.
Yeah.
Like certain cues from visuals. And like the city, even though it's a different city, but it still had that same kind of look as like Coruscant or Obi-Wan kind of had that nighttime. Like, I like how like Star Wars has like the rural and they have like the urban planets. You know what I mean? The more like your Vegas, New York kind of planets. So it was,
and they got like the bar looking kind of things. Yeah, beautiful looking. And I gotta watch it again, because I missed a lot of stuff because I was focusing on the background stuff going on, which was awesome.
Yeah.
They're just like, because there are these huge open like auditoriums that they're in or whatever, or like banquet areas, and there's all these awesome things walking around in the background.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to the stuff, and then I'm starting to watch that. So I know that I've missed some plot things, and I missed some some cool visual things. So I got to watch it again. But there's some cool stuff walking around in the back.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, straight up battle droids. I mean, you got from the Clone Wars. I mean, that was, and it's so funny because I was so used to them, and I'm forgetting, like, because I've been watching the Clone Wars cartoons. So I've been seeing these things forever, but I'm forgetting, like, this is like the first live action battle droid we've seen in like 40 years. You know what I'm saying? From the.
Oh yeah, those things were awesome. The scene with Mando kicking him was great.
Yeah, but then
that scene was awesome.
But then like the original corny one, the the regular, those were like the super battle droids, but like the regular one that was, hey, what are you doing? You know, that the nerdy battle droid is like, oh look, an old friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those are from the prequels, right?
Yeah,
I definitely recognize those.
Yeah. And then
but even the animals, if you notice where Lizzo and Jack Black, whatever that room was where they'd have their meetings.
Yeah.
When they're walking around,
like
if you look
aliens?
in the back, there's all kind there's things like flying and these, are walking by. Really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Axe Wolves. He's it's funny, they were showing the flashback, which kind of gave to like, okay, they're really laying out this Darksaber thing, because people were making like jokes on the internet like, wait a minute, didn't she beat the guy that beat Din Djarin? Like the thought was out there. And I'm like, wait a minute, they're straight laying it out now. But it was funny because they showed Axe Wolves again, because I forgot Axe Wolves even had lines last season. Like, I didn't remember him saying anything. And then
I didn't remember him at all.
Yeah, but then when he says in the flashback, oh, he's one of them, and that's like all he says. But basically, it's like once he started talking in that first scene, I'm like, dang, this is another cool character. This guy's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say there's a lot of depth with Bo-Katan and with that whole blue crew. And that's another thing too, is like maybe they're setting up the groundwork for future seasons where it's like, okay, now we got this world of Mandalorians coming up.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Well, you got her crew, and you got it really is like the heart and soul of the episode is, and we can hop back to stuff, but is the Darksaber. The fact that, and you know what I liked is that
it was so cool. Did either of us call that, by the way? Did you call that?
No.
That how he laid it out, like, oh well, this guy beat me, so technically she gets it. That was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And I got chill bumps when it happened. I'm like, holy crap. Oh man, I didn't even think of that.
No, I saw people making jokes about it on the internet, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's funny. But I'm like, well, technically it's true.
Technically it's true.
The thing did beat him, and like he threw it on the floor, and had he not got rescued, he would have owned that Darksaber. So he, that creature.
Yeah. We gotta go back and listen to ours. I'm surprised neither of us caught that.
I don't think so. No, people did, but
yeah.
But what I like is that she beat Axe first in battle. So it wasn't even just like, so she already got the crew. She already got the stuff. Like it was a victory before the victory because of a technicality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she still kicked his butt.
Oh yeah. She beat the challenger.
Yes.
Like, all right, I just beat the king.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have the Darksaber, but he's your king, and I just beat him. Oh, there's the Darksaber. Oh, I beat that guy too.
Yeah. And the Children of the Watch are all about her because she, only the.
Is that really what they're called?
Yes, they're called the Children of the Watch. That's Din Djarin's sect.
Okay, because I think that's from something else.
Oh no, it's because it has something to do with the Clone Wars,
also
Death Watch. Yeah, but I actually just wrote that down because I remember the two different sects. But like and the armor is all about her because of the mythosaur. And even though the rest of Din Djarin's crew doesn't know about the mythosaur, she, like we said last episode, she led like 2 missions, saving the kid and whatever the last mission was. What was the last mission that she ran?
She saved the kid
and rescuing the planet, Grief Karga's planet. She led that mission.
So she cannot prove herself more.
No, yeah.
As she proved herself to this sect, to the ones wearing the helmets.
Yep.
She proved herself to the ones not wearing the helmets, and she beat the challenger.
Yeah.
And she rightfully gets the sword.
Yeah. So now she's
what was the last line that Mando said? Ah, crap. You know what? I wanted to start.
Oh, he goes, I returned this to its
It was so good.
I returned this to its rightful owner.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, because she's like, it's not a gift to get given. And even they kind of almost laid it out like everything, because that was the important thing. They showed us stuff with, oh, here's something. Because first I'm like, well, they didn't show Moff Gideon, okay? But these guys were guns for hire. They still could have been hired to go break out Moff Gideon. You know, even though they stole his ship, maybe they cut a deal. I don't know, but it could have just been a job they ran. It's a little bit of a stretch, but they're still like the number one suspects, I would think.
Unless... Yeah, and nothing's changed.
Yeah,
with that, your theory still, or our theory, what's it? Whoever's theory.
Yeah,
it's the theory.
Yeah, it could be our theory.
All theory. Yeah, ours. Yeah, but the theory still, nothing changes. He's full on. I mean, he could be in the ship right there, you know, cuffed up and screaming.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, we skipped a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Let's go back.
I went back to yeah.
So, okay, so it starts off visually stunning, right?
Yes.
Jack Black and Lizzo. I first see them. It was the best. And the first thing I'm thinking is this thought crosses my head, and I don't know if it would have if we don't do this show and I'm in kind of a critical mode, but I'm like, it kind of takes me out of it seeing these actors when that's not a Star Wars thing. Star Wars doesn't cast celebrities.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we got these two. But what they're good at, and just like with the Muppets aliens that they have, and then the robots and everything else, is that for a second you're like, okay, this is a little jarring, a little strange, but it's done so well to 10 seconds in, I forget it's Jack Black, and I forget that. And they're very good at that. They have the heart in it. You know what I mean? To where you could overlook these silly things and enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, plus they're playing silly characters, and then they're just like unloading all this heavy Star Wars stuff on you really fast, and you're like, whoa, like you just, it sucks you back in, or you know. And he's meant to be affluent and silly, so it's like, you know, it's not like he's running around with a lightsaber. You know what I mean? Like he's another silly character. It makes him more likable. But yeah, it's I think the first shot I caught it was Jack Black, especially like when the camera pans away from him.
Oh, instantly. Yeah.
And he's turning on that voice. I'm like, that's Jack Black. Like, you know, he's hamming it up.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I love Jack Black.
Yeah.
And then Lizzo was good. I loved Grogu and Lizzo.
Yeah, he helped her with
that was funny.
It was the space cornhole game. He's helping her with that. And
she's the jumping to her when she's like, can you come to me? She's like,
yeah. He doesn't take to strangers.
Yeah. When he did that, I was like, oh, the whole thing that I said to you, like, I don't know about his movements. Like, you know what? Scratch all that. I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, he's just like the fun. It's the fun silliness part of it. And you get the
yeah.
What else we got?
But the one I got to say, Christopher Lloyd. I'm a huge Back to the Future fan.
Yeah, me too.
But that took me out of it. I could not shake that it was Christopher Lloyd. I don't know who the character was, but I would never know it. I'm just looking at, you know what I mean? You're supposed to lose the actor. I couldn't. And it was just like, I don't know. I don't think that was well done. And for him to be that evil and that old, like someone who's 90 years old going to just wipe out a planet. It's like, no, 90-year-old people don't do that. Well, the only thing that sold me on it was, that he was all about Count
Dooku.
Who was it? Count Dooku. And I was like, okay, well, it's like a cult thing going on. So I could see this guy being obsessed with him, maybe.
Yeah.
It just, I had a hard time wrapping my, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a small thing.
No, I get what you're saying. No, you know what it is? It's like, age-wise, it works. It's like, okay, you've already gone through the Empire. So he's from old Clone Wars time, so he's old.
Yeah, he'd have to be that old.
The problem is, you know, Christopher Lloyd is saying these lines and he has no idea what the hell he's talking about because he's
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's not talking about the
Yes.
flux capacitor. No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying like he's
Yeah.
he's saying Count Dooku, and Christopher Lloyd has no idea what the hell he's talking about. he just memorized his lines. He's like the Republic, the Empire, the Marty's and Biff with your mother. He's just spitting out whatever. No, I get you. No, that
21,
yeah, that took me out more than Jack Black. I agree with you. Yeah, the juxtaposition.
Yeah,
because it's like he's saying Count Dooku, so it's like here's some. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, like you really, Count Dooku.
Do you really? Do you really know what that is?
Yeah.
Like I could picture Jack Black at least is like excited, like, oh, I'm gonna be on the Mandalorian. Like he probably watches the Mandalorian stuff, but Christopher Lloyd's like, I have no idea what any of this is.
Yeah. Jack Black is so good. I love that guy.
Yeah. Oh, his character was
funny.
fun.
Yeah, his character was great.
Oh, but my darling.
And then after that was the those guys, the worker guys, the little gremlin looking.
Oh, the Ugnaughts. Yeah.
Ugnaughts.
Yep.
Loved them, and I loved Mando, how he was talking to them.
Yeah. That's a callback from the first one with Nick Nolte. He played Queel, the I Have Spoken. And that's when Nick Nolte, we mentioned it before, Nick Nolte was the guy, when Queel was teaching him how to ride that thing, he goes, your ancestors rode the great mythosaur. And he was trying to teach him how to ride that other thing, which is actually the insignia that I believe Din Djarin has on his shoulder, kind of like Bo-Katan has the mythosaur. You know what I'm saying? It's like something about
gotcha.
Animal you've either encountered or something like that. I'm not exactly sure.
It's like the spirit animal.
Yeah.
Sort of situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a cool. I like that whole dinner. How that went was cool. You know what it felt like? It felt like it was like a Law and Order episode where they were going from thing to thing, and I was like, okay, go. Okay, so the planet asked them for help. Okay, we need help. Oh, for that, you got to go talk to these people. I was like, wait a minute, you want me to help you?
Yeah,
I got to go get this information. All right, let me go talk to the gremlins.
Yeah,
but it was. I thought that was pretty silly. Like to do it, but it had that rhythm, you know what I mean? And they're sitting there, and it's the two of them taking questions, and that's why I was asking about the director. I was like, maybe it's like a TV show guy.
No, there's a theory behind that too, and I'll give Rebel Force Radio credit for that. But there's a theory that Gina Carano, when she got fired from Disney because of like political stuff or whatever,
right? And
it was like, there was a show that was going to be called Rangers of the New Republic. It was going to be like another spinoff of Mandalorian. And it got scrapped because I think it basically centered around her maybe, or maybe just budget cuts or whatever it was. The show got scrapped. But I think like even the stuff lasted with that one captain. I don't have him right in front of me, but you know I'm talking about that one resistance captain that went to Mando for help. There's certain storylines like the stuff on Coruscant and stuff. There's a theory that some of that stuff was meant for Rangers of the New Republic. That was going to be more of a police detective show. But they just kept some of those concepts and some of those ideas with Mandalorian.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because it felt like that was one thing I had written down. It's like, it almost feels like they walked into someone else's show.
Yeah.
I swear, I have that written down. I felt like, are they guest starring on a different series or something, you know? Because it didn't, now it makes sense. You got everything was built out.
Yeah. So it was like, somebody had a whole story structure. Like, oh, we love that story. Show gets scrapped. And like, oh, well, they need something to do when she gets to the Darksaber at the end. Like, oh, let's grab this story. This is a pretty cool one. We just, threw in a can, I think, but especially from what you say, but I think that's might be what's going on when you see some of this more of like the political stuff and the detective work stuff.
There's so many side stories too, just like the one big character from last week's episode where I was like, wow, it seems like a lot of money and a lot of effort to make this guy real cool that you see in a bar for a second.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see him again. And you said, oh, well, he's from this story.
Yeah.
There's always that going on. So it's always like, oh, this is probably from some other side thing. But back to the so they go to the Uggos or whatever they are, the gremlin looking guys.
The Ugnaughts.
What were they again?
Ugnaughts.
Then where'd they go? Where'd they go after that? Was that
They went to a droid. They went to a droid bar.
Oh, the droid bar. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I would just they need that in every episode. There needs to be a droid bar. They stop in. It was like Christmas. It was all the droids.
I wanted the droids to say, like, we don't take your kind here. Because that's what they said to R2-D2 and 3PO in the first movie. Like, they got to be outside or something. Like, somebody say something like that. Yeah, that was cool.
We don't take kindly to your kind.
That was very Star Wars, the droid bar.
But it was the best of it. It was like they threw in all the hits. Like, you know that the what's it called? The stage or the where they were filming it that day. You know that the set. You know that there's all. They invited everybody there for pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
like, what
taking
a cool
selfies. You got R5s, R2s, 3POs. You got everything.
And you know we missed some. You know that's another one. You got to watch again just for that. Like, oh, how many cool droids were in there? Like, how many C3POs and different. I love how they're throwing in different C3POs too. Like, different models and stuff.
Yeah, like the silver one or the black one and stuff. Yeah. So here's where we are. We're at 2 episodes left, right? So we got the big turning point was the Darksaber, right?
Yeah.
So here's some things. I got some theories. I'm not sure, but I need me some Boba Fett. Now I'm like, all right, it's enough fooling around. I need some Boba Fett. That's gotta
be next episode.
Well, they
went to her friends. Now they go to his.
I expected him when he was dealing with the Ugnaughts that he was going to get the droid part for IG-88. That's what I thought. Remember, he was looking for that piece for IG.
Yeah.
I thought, that's how this episode's going to end. He's going to walk away with that piece. But now I'm thinking, okay, he's got to go back to Peli Motto, which is going to involve him with Boba Fett. Whether they try to enlist Boba Fett is one thing or another. But then there also has to be like a buildup of some last conflict and what the last reveal is. I'm thinking it's getting the group together, which might be a lot of these guys that might be in Rebels or Ahsoka, but I don't know if that's too much like the season finale is going to shoot off to the next show. I don't know. But you got to give us some off, the next 2 episodes has got to be like the big, the build up.
Yeah, it's got to be Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Moff Gideon. Yeah, because the girl and that whole thing, that storyline, which is tied in with Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
The real ripped girl. Yeah, that's got to come up. So I think Boba next week is grabbing Boba, and then the week after maybe fighting them. Yeah,
you know what? I bet he gets Boba. It'll probably be 2 storylines. It'll probably be like whatever's just predictions. But maybe he's doing some whatever things going on with him and Boba. But then you have you show some things starting to come together on Coruscant again. Like you said, the I forget her name, but the girl that's with the Empire that's pretty much undercover that we know.
Yeah.
And then we'll see some seeds of that that'll set up for finale. But
what about I got a question for you.
Yeah.
They're saying I can't remember the planet, but the Mandalorian's planet that they want to get
Mandalore.
Back. Mandalore. Who has Mandalore? Because he says, we're going to get Mandalore back. Who's got it right
Nobody
now?
has it. It's just deserted. So I don't know.
Okay, because it sounded like they were saying we have to take it back. I thought it was he just figured out it's okay. Does someone actually? The way it was worded, it made me feel like somebody had it, which I hadn't. Well, I forget everything, so maybe if I heard it, I forgot it. But I don't remember anything.
I don't quite understand that either, because if Mandalore, cool. So does it mean rebuild Mandalore? Or is there some kind of occupation? But what's the occupation? The Empire is gone. So that I don't quite understand. Or do they
maybe
mean
the Republic just takes it's just designated inhabitable, which makes it just Republic just owns it, stay off of it or something.
Yeah, I'm a little foggy on that. So I don't know if it means just reclaim Mandalore and rebuild it. That part I don't quite get.
So that's a plot hole, and that's a possible you know what? They do have to go back there because the Mythosaur.
Yeah.
I don't think that Mythosaur storyline's done. Just seeing the thing in the water. Maybe something else is going to happen with that.
Yeah, it's a lot of. I mean, maybe I got my math wrong, but I thought it was 2 episodes left. Maybe it's 3, but it's a lot of ground to cover, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of ground to cover, but they could still leave things hanging. You know, they wanted to keep the show going.
Yeah, but just to give it like the end of this chapter, like they did last time, you know what I mean? Which I'm sure they will. I'm sure there is a plan. Like I said, point B is here. And then you got Ahsoka coming out in the fall, so we get to still continue being in that world. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah. You looking forward to that one?
Oh my God! Oh, I can't wait for Ahsoka. Ahsoka's gonna be it's gonna be cool because it's gonna be just more of that Star Wars stuff. But picture Mandalorian.
It's more Jedi.
Yeah, it's gonna be more Jedi.
It's all Jedi going on. Yeah.
Yeah, more Jedi and more mystic and things like that. That's gonna be. I think that's gonna be real good. I got a feeling I'm gonna see more Luke in Ahsoka, and maybe that's where they'll start doing the Leia and Han stuff if they want to. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Ahsoka.
Yeah. Thanks. But, I don't have the attachment to her because I didn't know the character for the show, and she was cool in the show. I'm looking forward to just more Jedi stuff going on. That's always fun. That's why like Obi-Wan was so cool.
Yeah, and it's just because he's got that relationship with Anakin, and she has that history with the Clone Wars and stuff. So a lot of that stuff will come out, and like I said, they're good at making that. Like Din Djarin has no history; he's from nowhere, and we've become attached to this guy. So you know. They could definitely make a cool show about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Ahsoka. But right now, I'm in the here and now, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how the season The Mandalorian wraps up. As always, Bob, pleasure having you here.
Yeah, buddy.
And we'll see you guys.